Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of our Skyrim Let's Play. Last time we continued the main questline, finally meeting Parthenax, who turned out to be a dragon, surprisingly enough, and then we joined up with the College of Winterhold. Now, we came to the college as part of the main questline, but, as I've said for a while, I wanted to sort of get off that main track and start doing some more of the side content. And so, since we're here, I decided we would start the College of Winterhold questline. Of course, our character is a bit of a spell sword. You know, he's part martial, but part magic. And so I always intended to do the questline. And so that's what we're doing right now. We had our first lesson with Tolfdir last time, and now we're heading to Sarthal, which appears to be some sort of archaeological site, I'm not quite sure. I suppose we'll find out when we get there. Going to do some in-the-field research. Seems a little early. We've literally only had our first course. This is pretty soon to put a student into the fields, but I guess they like to be sort of hands-on in this university. I mean, the students in the first lesson made a big deal about how, well, we came here to learn practical stuff, you know? Not to read textbooks. We're already talented, skilled. And, well, I suppose so. I mean, the only test to get in was to cast one random spell. Who the hell are you?
Smell that fresh air? Truly, this is a good place to
a
play
bard.
a song.
Talskar the Wanderer. Well,
Right.
I'm not paying that much for a song, but good day to you. I hope your wandering goes well, my friend. Let's continue on, Lydia. Continue on to this archaeological site. Alright, here we are. Sarthal discovered. A rich archaeological site full of many things to discover, I'm sure. And it looks like we're the first ones here. That's fine. We'll give the others 2 hours to arrive. How about that? I mean, it's not that far from the college. Ah, there they are. What's going on? Tolfdir is, getting some mage armor ready. An enemy somewhere, Tolfdir, or you're just being prepared?
And here we all are. Shall we step inside?
I'm ready, let's go.
All right. Please stay close to me while we're inside. It should be safe, but it's always better to be cautious.
Fair enough. Everybody else is here.
I'm not so sure we should be here.
We just got here, boy.
You know, there might be gold somewhere in here.
I was gonna say another word beginning with a B, but I decided to leave it.
Sacked by the elves in the infamous Night of Tears, not much is known about what happened to Sarthal.
Okay. Should sheath my sword. It's not appropriate in a scholarly environment.
This is an exciting opportunity for us. Well,
Oh.
are there any questions before we begin?
Okay, your spiel has been interrupted. Well, let me ask you, what is so important about this place?
We're particularly interested in the prevalence of magical seals placed on the tombs here. It's rather unlike anything we've encountered.
Really? Okay. What are we looking for?
Anything. Anything at all that might be of interest. That's why I adore this location. We have no idea what we're going to find. And if along the way my message about the dangers of magic should happen to sink in for a few students, that would be a happy coincidence.
Sounds like you want something bad to happen to us, Tolfdir. Frankly, I'm a little worried about that statement, but anyway, apart from that, I don't have any more questions. What would you like me to do?
Ah, yes. Well, why don't you see if you can assist Arniel Gain? He's one of our scholars, here working on cataloging our finds.
Okay.
I expect he'd appreciate some help in locating any additional magical artifacts here in the ruins. Any enchanted items will do. The usefulness of the enchantment is irrelevant. If you find anything, the class can look it over. Now let's see.
Sounds good.
Shall we have the rest of
Let's
you?
go.
All right, everyone. Let's be careful, but have fun.
Like I said, this is some pretty advanced field work for students that have literally just begun. Though, like I said, I suppose this is a bit different from a normal university.
Zargo finds nothing but dust in
I suppose the idea, even though you just have to cast a random spell to get in, but I think the idea is that you already have to be talented and educated in magic in order to even start at the college. Ah, here you are.
Don't touch anything.
Hey, I'm not touching anything. I haven't. Look, Tholthir sent me here to help you.
What? Ah, yes, you. I remember you.
Remember me?
You're going to help? That's fine.
I don't know you.
Just don't make a mess of my work. I've only looked through a portion of this section. You can look around in the chambers just north of here. Try and be careful, all right? We don't want to damage anything.
All right, all right. Have we met this guy? I don't remember meeting this guy. And, you know, a little trick here. Make sure to pick up all the artifacts before you go to this one over here on the wall. It's a little thing, but, you know, you get a couple of magic rings. Though, I guess maybe you could come back and pick them up afterwards. You probably could, actually. Oh well, my tip doesn't really matter then. But anyway, this one looks a little different than the other artifacts we just picked up. Let's see what it does. And I'm trapped. Help me!
What was that racket? Is everything all right?
No, everything is certainly not alright. I'm trapped in here.
How in the world did that happen?
I pulled an amulet off the wall.
Really? Perhaps the amulet is important somehow. Is there some way you can use it?
Well, let me put it on. We're not even wearing a necklace right now. Sarthal Amulet. Spells cost 3% less to cast. Not that great, but through this questline and the other questline that branches off from this particular mission, we'll be getting some pretty good items.
Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Some kind of resonance. You and the wall. It must be connected to the amulet. I wonder what effect might your spells have.
Let me see. We don't usually use destruction magic, but here we go. I always thought that was fun. Well, you saw what happened. Are we going now, Tolfdir? Take your sweet time, my friend. So, I mean, we're not a pure mage character. In fact, we don't actually use magic that much.
This is highly unusual.
Ah, here he is.
Interesting.
We use a bit of restoration and a bit of conjuration. Well, we use them basically in every fight, but, you know, these are spells that don't have to be used that frequently. So we're not that magic-oriented, which I think we'll be reminded of during this quest line.
Sealed off. What is this place?
I don't know. You tell me. Some sort of, well, certainly a tomb of some sort. Maybe a special altar of some kind.
Yes?
Oh. Hello.
Hold, mage, and listen well.
Okay.
Know that you have set in motion a chain of events that cannot be stopped.
Uh-oh.
Judgment has not been passed, as you had no way of knowing. Judgment will be passed on your actions to come, and how you deal with the dangers ahead of you.
Oh no.
This warning is passed to you because the Psijic Order believes in you. You, mage, and you alone, have the potential to prevent disaster.
Me?
Take great care, and know that the Order is watching.
I always thought Psijic was such a weird name.
I swear I felt something rather strange just then. What just happened?
Because you intuitively feel like it should be Psychic Order, but it's not. It's Psijic. Well, Tolfdir, some sort of ghost or apparition appeared. It spoke to me.
I'm afraid I didn't see anything.
Oh.
Can you tell me more about what you saw?
Sure. It said something about danger ahead, about the Psijic Order.
The Psijic Order? Are you quite sure about that? That's very odd.
Is it?
And danger ahead? Why, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh.
The Psijics have no connection to these ruins, and no one's seen any of their order in a long time. Perhaps we should take a look inside these coffins. Now, please do be careful. Who knows what we're going to find?
Alright, I'm not sure if the coffins are related. Though before we do that, I will ask you, it's good to get some background, I feel. What is the Psijic Order?
They were a group of mages with a history that predates the Empire. Very powerful, very secretive. No one's seen them in well over 100 years. They vanished, along with their sanctuary on the Isle of Artaeum. I have no idea what connection they'd have to this place.
Curious. Why do you think the Psijic Order is contacting me?
I have no idea, but it's fascinating. Assuming it's true, of course. The Isle of Artaeum disappeared over 100 years ago, and no one has seen them since. And yet now, suddenly, they've chosen to contact you. Why, it's intriguing. If nothing else, I'd take it as a compliment. The Psijics have only ever dealt with those they feel worthy.
Well, Tolfdir, I'll tell you this much. Seems like wherever I insert myself, I become the main character. That is how Skyrim works. And I get it, it's a video game. Though, like I've said before, I do have my critiques. Sometimes I sort of wish that it would feel more like you were in a living world that you were just a part of, instead of the world altogether revolving around you, which can feel a little not immersive at times, but, whatever. Alright, those are all my questions. Let's check out these coffins.
All right, then.
Surely nothing bad will happen. Uh-oh. He just ran right past me. My goodness, Lydia's doing work. Get back here. Nice. Always love a good kill cam. I mean, who doesn't?
This is simply fascinating.
'Tis.
This is simply fascinating.
Okay, I guess I'll keep going. Don't block him off, Lydia. I don't want to mess up the scripting of the AI. Skyrim can't handle that sort of thing. Taking your sweet time, Tolfdir. I'll head in first. And this would probably be time to use some of that conjuration magic I was talking about. Though, I'm so heavily reliant on the sword and board strategy, aka shield and sword, that we don't actually need the conjuration magic, but I'm still trying to raise it up, It's still good. Adds a little bit of flavor at the very least. Is that everybody? Perhaps.
I've never seen anything like this in Nordic ruins before. Why, just look at all these coffins. This bears closer inspection. I'd like to stay a while and examine this. You, however, should press on. See if you can find whatever this vision of yours mentioned. But if it is truly dangerous, be careful. Go on ahead. I'll be sure and catch up with you.
It's crazy, by the way, that after everything that's happened, he would say, I have to stay back here and examine this area. It's like, you couldn't do that afterwards? You can come back. Surely. I mean, maybe not, but you think you would keep continuing forward until you reach some sort of conclusion. Also, I mean, there's a lot of tombs like this in Skyrim, Tolfdir. I know he's not saying, like, oh, I've never seen anything like this at all. He's saying this particular setup, but I think we've seen stuff like that before. Though I suppose our character has quite the unique story so far that an academic like Tolfdir wouldn't necessarily relate to. Though he's an interesting fellow in his own right. As we'll see a little bit later, I think. Oh, man. I just got absolutely bamboozled. You got me. I'll give it to you. God, this Blade's armor is so cool, man. Ooh, a Draugr White. Come on now. There we go. Beautiful. Always save your game. I'm also going to check what shout we have equipped. Fire breath, not bad. We'll do Fusro Da. We now have 2 words of fire breath, since Parthenax gave us the second. But we have all 3 words of Fusro Da, which is pretty nice. Because we can really fling enemies across the room. Well, actually, not just enemies. We flung Lydia across the room several times now. You know, in my defense, mainly when she wouldn't get out of my damn way. Now, I could just tell her to move somewhere else, but, you know, it's a little more fun just shouting her out of a room or up a stairway. Don't step on this trap, Lydia. Oh, she didn't. Fair enough. See, we're a formidable foe. Ooh, a puzzle. But of course it's a Skyrim puzzle, so you just have to match the pillars to the symbols behind them. Easy enough. Not to mention that I've done, like, most puzzles in this game. Goodness, a dozen plus times? I mean, some of them dozens of times, really. For example, whoops, that one was already right and I switched it. The door at Bleak Falls Barrow with the dragon claw. That's one that I must have done dozens and dozens of times since I played that first section of the game so often. But, you know, other puzzles and quest lines that I have done less often, maybe I've only done them 20 times max, which is still a lot, but less, I guess. Sometimes this guy has a disarm shout, and he will very annoyingly disarm you. I'm trying to use my Fusro Da, but the shout... There we go. Didn't want to happen. It happened now. It would have been an inconvenient time, frankly. Yeah. Beat him up, Lydia. Bully him. You don't stand a chance, friend. I'm sorry. I thought my Atronach had been killed, honestly. I guess it just fell down or something. Alright. Good job, gang. Does he have a chest? No, doesn't look like it. He's got a nice linen wrap in his coffin. Okay, okay. There's another trap. Man. Oh, it didn't hurt me. I guess I did dodge it. Not that one. And you'll get these at sort of mid to high level destruction, but, you know, we ain't a destruction mage. This puzzle. Gotta be honest, I never actually figured out how to do this puzzle. I know you just turn them in a particular order, but I forget which order you're supposed to turn them in. You know what I mean? Well, there you go. And the reason I don't actually know the solution to that puzzle is because I just do that every time. I just mess around with it until it works. Dolfdir?
I thought it high time I caught up with you.
Wow, you came sprinting.
Be prepared to defend yourself.
Oh, okay. I am. Don't trigger this trap, Lydia. Or Tolfdir. Oh, y'all are really avoiding the traps in this dungeon. And of course, Tolfdir catches up with us just in time for the boss room.
Well now, would you look at
Now this is remarkable. What is that? Jerick Galderson. Is that how you pronounce that? Don't bring me up in my ancient Nord pronunciation, guys. Alright, give him a second. Tolfdir has to work his magic. Oh! I'm missing my opportunity. Oh my goodness, we got him in the one go. We really are quite powerful at this moment. There we go. Now, what I was saying earlier about the Sarthal Amulet, 3% less magicka, not that great, but we'll get some good artifacts through this questline. This is what I'm talking about. Increase your magicka by 30 points. Not bad at all. Some gold and a writ of sealing. Now what is this? Okay, I can't read the text. Be bound here, Uric, that might be Uric, murderer, betrayer, condemned by your crimes against realm and lord. May your name and your deeds be forgotten forever, and the charm which you bear be sealed by our ward. Well, I have it now.
I'm not the only one seeing this, am I?
No, I'm seeing it.
This is utterly unique.
A big orb.
What could this place be?
I don't know. And you're asking, what could this place be? I'm asking you, what could this thing be?
I have no idea. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. The Archmage needs to be informed immediately. He needs to see this for himself. I don't dare leave this unattended. Can you return to the college and inform Savos Aran of this discovery? Please, hurry.
Will do. And there's some other artifacts around here. The Staff of Uric Galderson, which is an interesting weapon. Target takes 25 points of damage and twice as much magic damage. Staffs aren't actually any good in this game, because you're better off just using your own weapons or your own spells. You know, staffs, you just use them, and you have to use a bunch of soul gems to repower them. But as far as staffs go, that's a more useful / interesting one. But now we get to talk with the Archmage for the first time. I mean, we might have bumped into him when we first arrived, actually. But we get to have a full-on discussion with them. And we also get a new word of power, which is Frost. Yes, Ice Form. At first I was thinking, is this the next word of fire? No, it's the next word of Ice Form. Our first word of Ice Form, actually. Yeah, I'll unlock it. I've got 5 Dragon Souls. And it's a pretty good one, actually. And we get our reward chest. Nothing too great, but, you know, you take what you can get, right? The other students have spent their time, you know, picking up enchanted rings like we were doing at the beginning. And we've just gone through this crazy boss fight. Where on earth is the... Oh, there it is. I'm just being dense. Look, guys, if you ever think I'm being incredibly stupid or missing something, you gotta remember, I was gonna defend myself by claiming bad eyesight, but that's not much of a defense. Though, I mean, you know, I'm looking at this TV with my pretty bad eyesight, even though I'm wearing glasses. And I'm trying to find, you know, a brown/gray switch or lever on a completely brown/gray wall. Skyrim's a very gray game. In comparison to Oblivion, which was a very saturated and colorful game, or Morrowind, which was, I guess it was very brown and yellow. Though this was also kind of the era of that. Skyrim came out in 2011. This was an era of sort of gritty, down-to-earth, realistic games. And what that mostly meant was a lot of shooters that were primarily brown and gray. I mean, there were a lot of good games from that sort of broad genre, and Skyrim's not a part of that, but is certainly sort of influenced by that move. But after a while, any trend can get a little boring, you know? And we've been moved on from that for a while anyway, so it's not really worth, you know, speaking negatively on it at this point. Hello, Archmage. I'm actually gonna
what you learn here will last you
rob you blind before we go. I always steal all of his soul gems, because he has a lot of good soul gems. So, and this is why you want the 3 enchanted rings. You disenchant one of them, and then you wear another of them. Are we wearing a ring? No, we're not. So we equip the Galder amulet fragment, and we equip the ring. And now let's look at us. Look at that. Both our magicka and health has been boosted. Not bad at all. And the Archmage has some interesting stuff throughout his room. There's some magical boots. I'm not going to thieve too much from him, because we're not supposed to be a thief this playthrough. And, I don't know. I can't be bothered going and selling this stuff to the Thieves Guild, really. But there's some stuff that would be quite useful for us to steal. As in... Oh, he's onto us. Some of these gems.
It's no secret that the college's reputation in Skyrim is tainted.
This is true. All right, we'll talk with him first.
You are relatively new here, are you not? I have noticed you, but we have not spoken.
Yes. We bumped into each other once. I'm not gonna go with the no, sir. No, we haven't.
Then allow me to introduce myself. I am Savos Arin, Archmage of the College of Winterhold. I am quite content to see nearly any aspect of magic explored and investigated here. But I do not and will not approve of any research or experiments that cause purposeful harm to your fellow members of the college. Are we clear?
We are clear, and he's making a big deal about this because, you know, the college, as he mentioned, has sort of a bad reputation in Skyrim. There's been some controversy. As you might have noticed, Winterhold is not in a good state. About half of the town is gone. A lot of people blame the college for that. So there's a particularly bad relationship between the college and the other locals of the town. And so that's why Savos is making a big deal about that. Dangerous research must be a problem here.
Not often, no. Some risks must be taken, to be sure. I am simply trying to avoid untimely deaths. We also must make an effort to avoid worsening what Skyrim thinks of us.
Right. I think Savos is an interesting fellow. We really don't get too much characterization of him throughout this quest line. What we do get, and this might be why we don't get too much characterization, is that I think he's a bit of a detached leader. I mean, he has some goals, as we're already seeing, but I'm not sure if he has too much of a hand in the sort of day-to-day running of operations. He's a bit aloof. That might be the right word for it. Or at least that's the impression I've always gotten. That might not be true. Maybe there's... Well, I'm sure there's more to him, but maybe he's not like that. You know, but like I said, I feel like you don't pick up too much about him throughout this quest line. But I think that might be because he is aloof. Let me ask about the purpose of the college.
Purpose? I should think it's self-evident. Magic is a true power, not something to be shunned by commoners or treated as an amusing diversion by politicians. It shapes worlds, creates and destroys life. It deserves proper respect and study.
Fair.
The college is a place where we can focus on that, without the pressures of the world weighing down on us.
And I think his aloofness sort of extends to the position of the college, right? Now, as you can see, he's aware of the outside world. He doesn't want to worsen the college's reputation, but, I mean, what he wants is an ivory tower. You know, he wants his own independent area where he and other academics, other magicians, other mages can conduct their research without being influenced by the outside world. And on one hand, I think that's understandable. I mean, this is sort of similar to academics in our world. That's understandable on one hand. On the other hand, you can see how that would cause some tension. And there often exists tension between universities and the surrounding communities. Sort of an interesting thing. Why don't you give me a little more about the college's history?
I've seen documents dating back to the late Second Era. Beyond that, it's hard to say. Events in the last several hundred years resulted in a significant loss of our history, I'm afraid.
Alright, I need to speak with you about Sarthal.
Please don't tell me that another one of the apprentices has been incinerated.
No!
I have enough to deal with right now.
Not that. We found some sort of orb. Tolfdir wanted you to see it.
I see. I trust that Tolfdir will provide a more specific explanation. Thank you for bringing this to my attention.
Well, we don't know what it is.
Tolfdir normally looks after your little group, yes? Since
Well,
he's
for the
apparently
one lesson
occupied,
we've had.
and I will need to see this discovery for myself, I think perhaps you should begin researching the subject. Speak with Urag in the Arcanium. See if he's aware of anything that matches your discovery.
Alright.
And good work. The next time you find yourself exploring Nordic ruins, perhaps this will be helpful.
Or actually,
What
let me
learn here
ask.
will last you a lifetime.
Yeah, okay.
Several, if you're
I'm not going to ask him about the Sijic Order, but I am going to ask him what happened in the last few hundred years.
The Great Collapse, as it has come to be known. An unfortunate natural disaster that ravaged the area. The college fared far better than the city of Winterhold, but it was not left untouched.
Okay, and we're going to ask him this, but he calls it a natural disaster. If you asked a lot of the local residents, they would say that the college has something to do with it. But I'll ask you, Savos, what caused the Great Collapse?
No one is sure of the cause. Some believe the eruption of Red Mountain had far-reaching consequences that were only felt years later. I know there are some who have blamed the college.
Right.
Said that we were responsible. I assure you this is not the case.
It's an interesting little controversy, and you can
Now,
make
if
up
you'll
your own
excuse
opinions on it. But we'll leave Savos for now. I was intending to rob him, but, well, we can get to that later. Here, I'll steal your Grand Soul Gem.
I trust you aren't considering any thievery.
Oh, well, I most certainly am. We'll leave it for later. He's given us a Staff of Mage Light, which isn't actually useful, because we could just either A, use the spell, or B, carry a torch. But, you can imagine how, if you were actually role-playing, it would be useful. But we've been sent to do a little bit more research on this orb thingy that we found.
I don't want to see you treating any of these books poorly. Are we clear?
Yes, sir. Urag. How are you doing today?
You are now in the Arcanium, of which I am in charge. It might as well be my own little plane of oblivion. Disrupt my Arcanium, and I will have you torn apart by angry Atronachs. Now, do you require assistance?
We have the resident librarian / archivist, I suppose. I will say, all academic librarians I've interacted with have been perfectly friendly and helpful. Let me ask you, I need to learn about something we found in Sarthal.
I know what you want. Word travels fast around here.
That fast?
Discovered some big mystery, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you don't even need to ask. No, I don't have anything for
Oh,
you.
okay.
Not anymore, anyway.
You don't have anything that can help.
I said not anymore. Orthorn stole a number of books when he ran off to Felglow Keep to join those summoners. Some kind of peace offering. I think one of those volumes may have had some relevant information. If you want them, you'll have to talk to Orthorn.
Okay. Wow, oh my goodness, we got a lot of questions. First off,
Assorted books.
I'm gonna sell some
Oh,
stuff to you.
I'm sure you'll find something useful.
You only purchase books. Alright, I have to find someone else to sell some of my magic stuff to. I don't want to spend too much time, but I'll ask this one question. Doesn't anyone care that Orthorn stole things from the college?
Not enough to bother with. Archmage Aaron's approach to
Yep.
these things is just to let them sort themselves out. Although now it looks like you'll be doing the sorting. Good luck with that.
I'll leave it there. Not to have too much confirmation bias, but as you can see there, Urag is kind of indicating that Savos Aren does have a bit of a hands-off approach, which is sort of the impression I got as well. And I stopped here because I can see Ancano waiting for us menacingly, so let's go see what he wants.
You there. I have questions for you. You were in Sarthal, yes? It has come to my attention that something was found there.
It's a little rude. But despite your rudeness, I will tell you, yes, we did. I just informed the Archmage.
I am well aware.
Okay.
Tolfdir is still in Sarthal, is he? I shall be expecting a full report from him when he returns.
Okay, good for you. Let's ask, why does this matter to you?
Something was discovered in Sarthol that was significant enough that Tolfdir sent a new member of the college, alone, to deliver word.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds precisely like the sort of thing that should matter to everyone, especially me.
Ugh.
Thank you for your help. You may go now.
The Thalmor are just so annoying, bro. I mean, regardless of what you think about the whole political situation, just their representatives are usually
I think the college is
stuck up and annoying.
leadership.
Okay, that's great, Neria.
It's lies. All of it. I don't care what she told you. It's all
I just
lies.
want to buy and sell some stuff. But also, I have no idea what you're talking about.
No? Well, then she hasn't gotten to you yet. But she will. And don't you believe a word of it.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Will you not sell anything to me?
All right, then.
I was hoping to find someone in there who would be able to buy some of my magic items from me, but it looks like we'll have to find the professors. Oh man, which hall are they in? Wherein is the other hall? Is it around there? Ah!
Let me keep. Even with the college's
Nope.
laid-back attitude, there are still some things that are off limits.
Well, that is true. Necromancy for one. I don't remember where all the teachers are, all the professors. Yeah, conjuration's sort of an interesting field of magic, and that's what we're in, because it is tarnished in the view of some by necromancy, which is, of course, a controversial topic.
You know, they say Nullet. You can see me?
Yes. Of course I can.
Confound it all, I was quite sure I was invisible. Or at least transparent. So,
Finally,
you wish to master the arcane
someone
arts?
who will take some of this stuff. I don't want it. I really don't. Take this, and take this, and take this. Oh well, I just sold that for a really low price.
All right, then.
Who else do we have in here?
Maribel does a fine job as Master Wizard, I suppose. Still, there's always room for improvement.
Okay, well, that's a little passive-aggressive. Or maybe just flat-out aggressive, frankly. I think Feralda is Destruction. Devis, or whatever his name was, is Illusion. Who else do we have? We saw some others walking around. Okay. I'll leave your soul gems here for now. Are you the enchanter?
Enchanting services
Yes.
are one of the few things that keep us in touch with the rest of Skyrim.
Interesting. Is that everybody up here? I think it is. And like I said, we saw some of the others walking around. I'm gonna nab some of these potions. I'll leave you your ingredients. I'm trying not to be too much of an absolute loot goblin. Because, I mean, not that I'm trying to do this Let's Play quickly. That is certainly not the case, as you can probably tell. But I'm at least trying not to waste too much time on extremely pointless stuff.
I need your help with something private.
I'm working on some very important research.
These are all the students coming back. And Arniel, who is researching. Okay! So, we got a mission to go and find these stolen books, and we got a new quest from reading that writ of sealing or whatever that we found on Uric Galderson's body. I say we sort of alternate between the two quest lines because by doing this quest line, oh, do I have to go back into the college? God damn it! Back and forth and back and forth. Because by doing this quest line about the Galderson amulet or whatever it's called, you make it even stronger. Well, what you do as you go along the quest line is you pick up a couple of amulets, which isn't super useful because you can only wear one at a time until the end, when you get an even better item. Sometimes these waypoints are not entirely conducive to efficient traversal. So what I'm thinking is we do, one mission from this quest line, then we go and do a mission for the college, then we do another, back and forth and back and forth. until we're done with the Amulet questline, and then we finish the College of Winterhold. Who am I looking for? Or what am I looking for?
Restoration is a perfectly valid school of magic, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Okay, Colette.
You consider Restoration a valid school of magic, worthy of study, don't you? Don't you?
I do. I think it's interesting that she's so worked up about this. And I guess you can kind of get it. It's like, oh, healing magic, that's lame compared to, like fire. But in reality, and anyone who's played Skyrim can tell you this, restoration magic is probably generally the most useful tree of magic, because any mage is going to use it to heal themselves, and on top of that, a whole bunch of non-mages will use restoration magic to heal themselves. I imagine that destruction and restoration are in a fight for most used trees of magic, but most broadly used is restoration, without a doubt. And so, Colette, of course it's valid.
Good. Not that I require validation, of course.
Well,
there are just some, and I shan't name names, who would disagree. It can make life difficult when one's colleagues fail to recognize the research one engages in.
That's true. I feel for you. So you're treated badly because of your work?
Well, no, not really. Not directly, I know.
Oh, okay.
But I know things are being said behind my back. Conversations cease when I enter rooms. I'm quite aware of what's going on here, and I will not stand for it.
Maybe a bit of a complex from Colette here.
All right. Then.
Anyway, let me get this book I came for. I'm not going to read through all this thing. Okay, this is a bunch of different legends. Oh, here we go. Forbidden Legend of the Archmage Galder. Powerful wizard Galder, well-known, wise, known in the courts of King Harold and the Jarls of Skyrim. He was murdered, perhaps by one of his sons, maybe the king. His sons fled into the night. You can see why that would happen. Chase ensued. One brother said to have perished in Volgunther. Records destroyed. Few sources remain. Oh, I just stole that.
Hands off!
I just stole that.
I don't want to see you treating any
Whoops.
of these books poorly.
My bad.
Are we clear?
My bad. I meant to put that back down and then just, by habit, I pressed the X button and I stole it.
I think the college...
Okay, thank you, Neria.
If
You
you're
and
working on-
Feralda...
Huh?
Stop talking to me. You and Feralda are very open about your opinions on this place and the current leadership. Oh, fantastic. We have a nearby waypoint. Fast travel point, whatever you want to call it. Those with the blood of a werewolf can never gain resting bonuses from sleeping. This is supposedly one of the downsides of being a lycanthrope. In reality, that is a pretty menial downside. There actually aren't really downsides. There are more downsides to being a vampire. In fact, I don't know. Being a werewolf, it's like, okay, well, you can transform into a werewolf. It's pretty self-evident. It's pretty cool. Being a vampire in sort of vanilla Skyrim was pretty lame. There were some downsides, and there weren't that many upsides. Which is why, when they added the the Dawn Guard DLC, they added in, like, vampire beast form, or whatever it's called. Because they wanted to make vampirism seem a little cooler. And I guess they succeeded in that. I wonder if this dragon wants to fight. I'm down. It's going right overhead. Oh, not the right shout for that situation. Hey. You want to engage? I'm perfectly willing to engage. I would love another dragon soul, if you don't mind. Oh. Well, we can read this afterwards. I'm hoping this dragon will Huh? Nope. I'm not sure if this dragon is going to engage with us. No, he's not. Alright, that's perfectly fine. Alright, let's head in and read that journal we just picked up. See what's going on here. Was this it? Nope. Was this it? Yes. Beginning on the 18th. 80 years since this individual has heard the Galder legend. 100 years. My goodness, you are old. Track the Ivory Claw. To a collector in Breville. Little name drop there. 3 days of non-stop writing. Reached Anvil by the 22nd. Bound for Solitude. 29th. Still on the voyage. The 2nd of the next month, presumably. 27th. Sorry. Yeah, the 2nd, and then the 27th. Quite a bit later. Some new companions. Full Gunther. Same as we're doing. Cast your books and scrolls into the fire. If I cannot have the amulet, no one will. And presumably, because we found this in your empty camp.
Is that one of the old ruins?
Yes, it is, Lydia. Presumably, we will find you in there. Maybe alive, but I'm willing to bet dead. With, you know, how this game goes. So let's head in and find out about this, you know, Galder amulet legend that we've been hearing so much about. Alright, let's see what's going on in this tomb. We got some traps set up. Interesting, interesting. Blood, a bunch of dead Draugr. Oh! Don't get stabbed, Lydia. Plus an adventurer. I'm not sure if this was the individual whose diary we read or one of their companions. Well, here's another. Presumably, they did not make it far. And we need that ivory claw that this fellow was talking about. I hear a Draugr somewhere. Snake. Well, we do not have the ivory claw, so we must go forward. And there's a Draugr coming for us. Oh, I had fire breath equipped. I wanted to check out Ice Form. But then I unequipped it when I was trying to get the attention of the dragon, who just ghosted me. He said, yeah, don't care, didn't ask. Can't be bothered fighting you. Now we've been locked in. Lydia's been locked out, so I'm gonna open that up real quick. Come on. Come on. Do yourself a favor and go down easy. It'll be less painful for you that way. Though I do realize I'm talking to a bunch of reanimated corpses, so I don't think it really makes much of a difference at that point. Ooh, brutal. Brutal. Oh, hey, Lydia. Caught up again. Let's head deeper into this. Man, come on now. I'm always falling into traps. I mean, it has happened several times now in this playthrough. My powers of perception are, you know, not very high. Not very high at all. And here we go. Ah, well, there, you know, since this is a named NPC, we know that this is the individual who wrote that journal. So I will be taking the Dragon Claw, taking your Soul Gem, and reading your notes. I can't see them because there's a bunch of quest dialogue up. Oh, wow. It's because it gave us, you know, every part of the quest at once. Oh, interesting. So we learned about Galder and his sons. His sons grew cruel and resentful. They wanted their father's power and prestige. Yurik, who we already found, discovered its source, a mysterious amulet from which he never parted. They conspired to murder their father in his sleep, divide his amulet, and so it was done. Consumed by newfound power, so we're learning the truth, at least according to these notes, of what actually happened. The three fled. And then we're learning about what happened. Yurik was sealed, imprisoned. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm getting the point. And so, there is one of those amulet fragments in this very tomb. First use of ice form. See what I'm saying? Not bad at all. So, a fun little show. And so, as I was saying, if we look at our quest list, we got the Galder Amulet Fragment in Sarthal. Now, there's 2 more to find. And, there's basically some other parts to the quest. And so, what I was saying earlier is we'll do one part, and then we'll go back to the Mages Guild, and then we'll do another part, and, until we're done. Sorry, friend. Can't be taking risks like that. Also, I'm getting more experience. Wow, there's a... Oh, here's what he did. There's a lot of them here. Okay. There's a bunch of these. Nope. 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 Okay. Nope. There we go. Trial and error. Once again, this is another one of those puzzles I've encountered many times, but unlike some of the other puzzles, I haven't memorized the correct order to do it, because I just use trial and error every single time. Because it's the most effective. Or maybe it's not the most effective, but, if you had to chart out sort of the convenience/ease with the effectiveness of the strategy, then that works perfectly fine. I mean, the puzzles aren't really great in Skyrim, but also, it's a video game puzzle. To be honest, most video games don't have great puzzles. Maybe some games specifically dedicated to puzzles, some puzzle games, but even some of those don't have great puzzles. So, of all the things I've criticized Skyrim for, and, I mean, throughout my life, that's many, even throughout this playthrough, I've had many critiques, the quality of the puzzles isn't really going to be one of them. Alright, so from entering Snake... Is this a whale or a dolphin? A whale? Snake, whale, bird. Snake, whale, bird. Get out here, Lydia. My memory is bad, I will say that much. So I'm gonna do it instantly, even though there's an enemy. Snake, whale, bird. And in the abstract, it's like psychotic, like, hello, you're ignoring the enemy to do the puzzle. Yeah, I don't want to forget the puzzle, man. That pattern is not going to stay in my memory for that long. We'll take any spare gems y'all have on you. Yeah. These are interesting little contraptions. I suppose we didn't trigger it that time. Alright. Let's head further downwards. Oh, brief little visual glitch there. Let's continue down, continue down. Some frostbite spiders. When they shot their, web at me, I literally tried to physically dodge in real life. Oh, let me move out the way. That's not gonna help you. I think everybody does that, you know, like when you're playing a game in which you have to drive a car, and as you steer, you're going left to right. I just know y'all are gonna rise. Yep, there you go. I told you. I told you. But unless you're Draugr White, you do not stand a chance against us. We're way too powerful at this point. And even if you are a Draugr White, it will take a couple of you to overpower me. So I think soon we'll probably start seeing the next level. Though, I mean, I don't have the, you know, Draugr hierarchy memorized necessarily. Alright, let's take a look at the Ivory Dragon Claw. Bird. What is that? Dragon? Almost correct. And there we go. What? I guess it is a dragon. Or something of the sort. Come on, let me in, let me in, let me in. You ready for this, guys? I reckon we're near the end of this dungeon. Gunther Crypt. Potion. Yep, here we go. Boss room, everybody. Hey, what's going on in here?
I've never seen anything quite like
We couldn't possibly be preparing for a boss fight, could we? And that's exactly what we're doing. Mikrul Galderson. And now, of course, they each have a part of the amulet, but they also each have specific weapons. His is as you can see, a life-draining weapon. We just need to attack him faster than he can drain our life. And this is one of the contexts in which Ice Form is quite good. Though, you know, it takes quite a while to recharge. And there we go, we just blitzed through this fella. And so, we have the second half, 2 out of 3, of the Galder Amulet. The first one increased Magicka by 30 points, this one increases health by 30 points. You all want to take a wild guess on what the third one does? And then also, Galder Blackblade, absorb 15 points of health. Now this is really one of the best enchantments for your weapons. Yeah, it's the same text, just with his name. Any more enemies, or did they fall alongside him? Or are they emerging right now? Hello? I just heard a bunch of coffins open, but I think after we killed him, they just died, basically. I suppose, I mean, that's the whole point, I think, if my lord's correct, of these Draugrs, is that they're placed here to defend the tomb, and I suppose in this case, to defend Mikrul. So if he's gone, then, you know, they're gone. And, hey, here we go, another word of power. Not bad at all. Now, is this the second part of Ice Form, or is this something else? I don't remember. Ah, yes. Okay, so Ice Form, as it says, freezes an opponent solid. We've seen that. Frost Breath is basically like Fire Breath, but frost. So it's not really as good. Because, I mean, these two shouts, Fire Breath, Frost Breath, these are just basic damaging shouts, which are fine, but to me they're not that interesting, because I can just damage you with a spell or a weapon. Something like an Unrelenting Force or an Ice Form, they're more interesting because they do something unique, right? So I will not be using a Dragon Soul to get Frost Breath. What do you have? Ooh, that's good. This is a very good enchantment to have, and this is also an enchantment that you can game the system with, I'll put it that way. Not bad. Alright, we got some pretty good loot from this quest. Let's head back into the tomb. Hello, Lydia. Let's keep it moving. Keep it moving. And here we are. like one of the Draugr bursting out of a sarcophagus. As we exit this tomb. Alright, alright. Ooh, what's through here? I don't remember what's through here, to be honest with you. Maybe some loot or something like that? Yeah. Oh god. Lockpicking. I despise lockpicking. I preferred when, you had the option in prior games to, pick the lock, force the lock, or use magic to open the lock. It sort of feels like a better solution to me, because it gives you a wider variety of skills to rely on. Because in a world like this, as well, it's not only thieves who need to get into locked doors, it's everybody. Well, not everybody, but if you're an adventurer, then it's you, whether you're a mage, or a warrior, or a rogue of some kind. You would probably have some sort of skill in order to expedite that process. You know what I mean? And so, as promised, we are now switching back to the Mage's College. We're going to do the next quest in that process, retrieving these books for the librarian, who is sorely missing them. And after we do that, we'll switch back to the Galder Amulet quest line. Let's see if I can sort of slide my way down this cliff without getting killed. There we go, there we go. And the Galder Amulet questline isn't too extensive. Though, I mean, it's pretty extensive for Skyrim, because you have to go to several different locations, kill different bosses, get different items, so... I mean, that's more than just your regular enter this dungeon, kill this enemy. And I think that's why it gives you such a good prize by the end. And, I mean, I won't say it outright, though if you've played the game, you'll know. And if you haven't played it, perhaps you can imagine what happens once you get all these 3 amulets. What happens with those 3 amulets by the end of the quest line. Do a little bit of thinking on that, and you'll get to see, if I had to guess, maybe in the next episode, or maybe the episode after that. I mean, I can't quite tell you. I don't know exactly what we're going to get done each episode, but something along those lines. Alrighty, here we are. We've made it to the site of our next quest, but that is where we're going to end this episode for today. I do hear a dragon up above. Hoping I can avoid that encounter for now. Maybe. Where is it? I don't know, I can't see it. Well, the last dragon didn't want to engage with us. So, unless this dragon wants to pick a fight right now, we're going to end this episode right here. We continued on with the College of Winterhold questline. We had our first lesson last time. This time we went to Sarthal, just for a sort of first basic archaeological lesson. But what happened was a lot more interesting. We were contacted by the Sijic Order, who had a mysterious message for us. Then we found this big orb, this interesting amulet. We went and talked to the Archmage and then the librarian who sent us to collect these books, which we will be getting next time. And we also continued the Galder Amulet questline, which we will finish in the coming episodes. Some interesting stuff. I always enjoyed the College of Winterhold questline. I don't think it's the best questline in the whole game. I do think there are ones that are better, and I have my critiques of it, which I'm sure you'll hear, but I think it's a fun one, and I always like magic and fantasy, so it's an enjoyable one. So, as we have Whiterun in the background of this shot, I will tell you guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you would leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's been nice seeing the Cookie Gaming channel, which had laid dormant for so many years. I hadn't uploaded on it since, very early high school or middle school. I mean, it had been a long time. It's sort of coming back alive again, We're getting some new subscribers, and we have a small but fairly consistent viewership on these videos, which I really appreciate. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you guys are having a good day today, and I will see you all again next time. Goodbye.